Hi, this is Christine Reeve from Autism Classroom News, and I am here to share a preview and some directions for using the Secondary Special Education Homeschool Communication Notes that include an editable version. So when you download the file, you'll get a zip file. So this is what will show up in your download file. On a Mac, all I have to do is double click to unzip it. On Windows, you probably need to use a zip utility, which may or may not automatically work. There is actually information on the TPT help site on how to open zipped files if you've never done that before. But when I open it up, it's going to all show up in this folder. Um, and in that folder, there are three sets of documents. One is the terms of use and the directions, which is a PDF document. One is the paper and pencil non-editable versions. And then one is a folder of the editable secondary home notes. So if you open the directions, obviously you get the title, you get the terms of use. On the terms of use page, there are also links. So if you have any problems, you can email me or contact me. You can also go back and leave feedback with a click to this banner. It talks a little bit about what the product is. It also gives you some good, I hope it's good, some information about making sure that you have the most current version of Adobe Acrobat. You will want to make sure that you're opening them in Adobe Acrobat and not in Preview or another program, mostly because the editable forms are only going to work in Acrobat Reader. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. It also tells you kind of where you can find everything. There is an embedded font, so it should auto-size to the form fields. At some point, I may adjust them so that you can add in other fonts. If that's something that you're interested in, please contact me. In the secondary version, there are 5 paper and pencil notes, and then there's an editable version of each one of those notes. So what you get in the editable version is the different categories of all 5 of those home notes. And then you can create your own checkoff systems. You can also complete the home note online, save it as your own document, and email it to a family if that's something that is of interest. There's also a weekly note, and it is also editable. And you can fill in the how did I do sections. So I'll show you those as well. So this kind of gives you an example. And finally, there is a note for parents to return to school. I only did this as a paper and pencil format because most families that I've worked with wouldn't want to complete it on the computer. Again, if that's something that you see as a need, please let me know and I will make it editable. And then we have our credits. So, and as you see, when I double clicked that, it opened in preview. The paper and pencil home notes, I actually want to make sure I'm opening them in Adobe Reader. So on a Mac, I'm going to use 2 fingers to right click on my trackpad, and I'm going to open with, and I believe you can right click on a Windows computer as well. I want to open it with Adobe Reader, and you want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date version. I actually think mine might be a little bit behind now. And that's going to open, these are the paper and pencil notes, so these are not editable. But they will print better if you open them in Adobe Reader as opposed to another program. And so here you see the different home notes, types of home notes. You can see in the secondary pack, I've included community activities with a little bit more space, jobs. I've added a little bit more space for communication as well, and then the weekly note and what I did at home. And finally, in this folder are the editable versions. And what you see is all the weekly and the 5 daily home notes are all listed individually. And I did it this way so that you will be able to save them. You'll save them under another name. and you wouldn't have to end up saving the whole document. So this way you can just use an individual note. So let's say I want to open um, the editable secondary home note. Again, I'm going to right click because my computer defaults to preview, and I'm going to choose to open it in Adobe Reader. And Adobe Reader is a free software download if you don't have it. Most computers have it these days. You can go just search for Adobe Acrobat and you'll find it. And you can download it for free. So I'm going to open it in Adobe Reader. When I do that, it's going to show me the different editable fields. I can actually, these will not print out, so it's not going to print out blue. It's actually going to print out looking like this with whatever I've written in. I'm going to highlight them again so that you can see them. I find it easier to highlight them. So let's say I'm making a home note for myself. And the date is 10/15. And what you'll see with this is if this is too big for you, if you hit the space bar, you can make it smaller. I've made it so that the fields actually change the size of the font to fit the field so that you don't run into problems with that. So let's say for group activities, I want to put I participated independently. I talked to a friend. I completed the calendar correctly. I asked for materials and I waited my turn. And I can actually check off which one you did each day. And I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Let's say for work time, I want to say I completed some of the common things I might do in work time. I completed sight words. And let's say that mom and dad have asked, we want to know what the student is working on during work time. I completed sight words. I worked with money. I did a science experiment. Story. I completed a worksheet, whatever I want it to be. In fact, you know what? Let's make that one an other. So then if I want to come back and fill that in later, I can certainly do that. So once you've filled in the different areas that you want to use, you can actually type in comments if you want to. And then, whoops, I had an I up here for some reason. And then if you want to, you can actually save it. So if you go to the way it is right now, anything that I leave blank is going to print looking like this. So if I leave something blank, it will leave an empty space. So the blue will not show up. So let's say that I want to save this so that I can come back and complete it later. I can go to File, Save As, PDF, and I'm going to save it as Chris Home Note, and I'm going to save it in the same folder where I had the original. And then I can actually come back if I want to. If I close it, here it is. I can open it again. And again, it's still editable. And as you can see, I opened it in preview because I double clicked. Let's say I want to edit it. Let's open it up in Adobe Reader. And I can actually complete it. She did participate independently. She did not talk to a friend today. She completed the calendar correctly today. She waited her turn and she asked for materials. Today at work we worked on sight words. we worked on money, we read a story, and we started next dollar activities. And I can fill it in. I can write again, if I want to make that smaller, I just hit the space button. And then I can save that. I can attach it to an email. Now, when I attach it to an email in my mail program, it shows up without the um, checkoffs. However, that's just a picture. It's not accurate. It's still there. So when I open it, it's still going to have all of the detail, and that'll be no problem. So that's a quick overview of using the special education homeschool communication notes for secondary and using the editing process. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I hope that you enjoy them. Thank you.